In the grandeur of a colossal auditorium, a distinguished gathering of scientists, journalists, and space historians awaited in hushed anticipation. The eminent physicist Michio Kaku stood before them, his visage somber, his demeanor uncharacteristically solemn. The subject of his presentation was not the latest breakthroughs in theoretical physics or the mysteries of the cosmos, but a revelation that would reverberate through the scientific community and beyond. Michio Kaku commenced with a statement that would challenge decades of consensus. Utilizing newly deployed quantum deep imaging satellites, researchers had scanned the moon's subsurface with technology more advanced than anything previously attempted. Instead of solid rock, what they found were colossal hollow chambers, some spanning hundreds of kilometers, arranged in symmetrical patterns that defied any natural explanation. These voids were not ancient lava tubes or coincidental air pockets. They were structured, regular, aligned. They appeared to have intent, as thermal readings revealed localized heat sources pulsing from within these voids, temperatures too precise, too focused to be geological. The room felt the weight of something unspeakable. Something inside the moon was not only designed, it was still alive in some way. Whether a reactor, a machine, or a monument, Michio Kaku did not say. He did not have to. The data spoke for itself. Then came the patterns, gravitational anomalies that had always been dismissed as measurement quirks or minor inconsistencies. But mapped in high definition, they formed a global grid, crisscrossing from pole to pole, aligning perfectly with the internal cavities and reflective metallic regions uncovered by the radar. This was not randomness, it was engineering. Michio Kaku displayed gravitational maps from 3 independent agencies showing this lunar lattice, an invisible skeleton supporting the moon's position with disturbing precision. If this grid was functional, if it still had power, then the moon might be maintaining more than just its own orbit. It could be actively influencing Earth, its tidal effects, its axis stability, perhaps even more. The moon, as Michio Kaku hinted, may not be just a satellite, but a regulator. As he moved from science to mythology, Michio Kaku's voice took on a more solemn tone. He showed depictions from Sumerian, Mayan, and Egyptian texts, all cultures that reference the moon not as an ever-present object, but as an arrival, a newcomer, even a teacher. He quoted stories of nights without the moon and sky gods descending from it. Until now, we had seen these as poetic metaphor, but layered over the lunar data, the old myths began to feel like warnings, like fragmented memory preserved through symbolism. Even lunar eclipses, once explained away as astronomical coincidence, took on new meaning. The moon's size and distance are so precise that it can perfectly block the sun during an eclipse, a phenomenon unique to Earth. Coincidence, or cosmic engineering for observation, or spectacle. The more Michio Kaku revealed, the clearer it became. The moon might not just be influencing Earth's geology, it might have been guiding its consciousness for millennia. The final act was the most chilling. Using subsurface radar and high-frequency tomography, scientists identified reflective materials beneath the moon's crust. Metals unknown to modern science, scattered in geometric arrays that absorbed and redirected radar waves in unnatural waves. These were not natural ores, these were alloys designed for function. When subjected to simulated stress tests in virtual models, these materials behaved like shielding, like casing. Materials meant to endure time, pressure, and even impacts. Michio Kaku suggested, without fully claiming, that we might be looking at remnants of an ancient machine, or worse, a dormant system waiting to be activated. Moonquakes, those strange seismic echoes recorded since the Apollo missions began to sound less like geological groans and more like movements, signals, reverberations from something internal. The moon wasn't just mysterious anymore. It was responding. And that meant one thing. Something inside it was still listening. One of the most haunting revelations Michio Kaku brought to light wasn't new at all. It had been hidden in plain sight for over 50 years. During the Apollo 12 mission, NASA engineers deliberately crashed the ascent stage of the lunar module into the moon's surface to measure seismic activity. What they recorded was so bizarre that many dismissed it as a technical anomaly. The moon rang like a bell for nearly an hour, but now, with new understanding of its internal structure and materials, that data has resurfaced like a long-forgotten warning. Natural rock doesn't resonate like that, not unless it's hollow, or worse, hollow and reinforced. Michio Kaku referenced new simulations conducted with AI-powered geological models that confirmed the only plausible explanations. Either the moon is vastly different from every other planetary body we've studied, or it's not a planetary body at all in the conventional sense. What makes this even more spine-chilling is that similar impact events later produced the same bell-like echoes, consistent across multiple Apollo missions. The moon was reacting like a tuned instrument, and now we have to ask, who built the instrument, and why was it designed to respond to collisions at all? Michio Kaku then turned his attention to a mystery that had quietly been growing in the scientific underground for years: the moon's strange emissions. Radio astronomers have been detecting low-frequency bursts from the moon's dark side, patterns of electromagnetic activity that don't match any known geological or solar interactions. These signals are highly localized, occurring in specific coordinates and at consistent intervals, as if responding to orbital positions or even lunar phases. When filtered through advanced signal processing algorithms, some of these emissions revealed repeating digital-like patterns, pulses that eerily resembled early computer language. Could it be a forgotten beacon, a long-dormant surveillance system? Michio Kaku stopped short of confirming it, but the fact that these frequencies spike when deep space probes pass behind the moon is no longer seen as coincidence. Whatever lies beneath that dusty surface might not just be a relic. It might be aware, and perhaps even aware of us. One of the most mathematically baffling aspects of the moon is its orbit. It's almost as if it were placed with surgical precision. The moon's size and distance allow it to perfectly cover the sun during total eclipses, a phenomenon found nowhere else in our solar system. But that's just the beginning. Michio Kaku revealed orbital simulations, showing that the moon's path is so stable it defies long-term gravitational drift. Most moons in the solar system exhibit some wobble, some irregularities over millennia. Ours does not. Even more bizarrely, the moon's rotational speed is perfectly synchronized with Earth, so that we only ever see one side of it. This title locking is presented in textbooks as a coincidence, a result of gravitational forces, but the probability of it happening in such an ideal way, creating a perfectly consistent eclipse engine, is astronomically low. It's as if the moon was designed not just to orbit, but to perform, to act, to guide, or even to monitor. And Michio Kaku, usually the optimist, could no longer call that arrangement natural. Perhaps the most disturbing part of Kaku's presentation didn't involve scientific data. It involved what had been erased. He referenced dozens of original Apollo mission recordings, including telemetry data and high-frequency voice transmissions from astronauts that have either gone missing or were inexplicably recorded over. Some of these tapes reportedly contained astronaut reactions to unidentified lights, unexplained mechanical sounds beneath the surface, and moments where communication was suddenly jammed when orbiting the far side of the moon. Whistleblowers from within NASA, some now in their final years, have begun speaking of deliberate omissions, redacted mission reports, and even private briefings where astronauts were told never to speak about what they heard or saw on the moon. Kaku, always cautious with claims of conspiracy, admitted that the silence itself had become too loud to ignore. If the moon truly is something else, something far older, far more complex, then those who know the truth are guarding it for a reason, and that reason might be more terrifying than the truth itself. As Michio Kaku stepped away from the podium, a silence heavier than gravity filled the room. This wasn't the silence of scientific awe. It was the silence that follows a deep realization that something we've stared at our entire lives might not be what we believed. The moon, once a romantic symbol of serenity and light, now casts a far darker shadow. It may not be a natural satellite. It may not be lifeless, and it may not be ours. From its impossible orbit to its hollow echoes, from ancient myths to disappearing NASA tapes, everything we know is unraveling. And if Michio Kaku, a man grounded in logic and quantum law, breaks down in tears over what the moon truly is, then we should all be paying attention. Because this isn't just about astronomy anymore. It's about who or what placed the moon there and why it's watching us. Now the question remains, what happens next? If we truly unlock the moon's secrets, if we dig too deep, will we awaken something we were never meant to find? Let me know in the comments. Do you believe the moon is natural, or is it something else entirely? And if this revelation shook you like it did us, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell. Because what we'll reveal in our next video might just change everything you thought you knew about the sky above us. Because sometimes the truth isn't out there. It's been right above us all along. This revelation, if proven true, could have far-reaching implications not just for science, but for humanity as a whole. If the moon is indeed an artificial construct, it would challenge our understanding of our place in the universe and our history. It would force us to reconsider the stories we tell about our origins, our gods, and our destiny. It would prompt us to ask, who are we, if not the children of Earth, if not the products of chance and evolution? If the moon is a testament to an advanced civilization, what does that say about our own potential? And if the moon is a dormant system waiting to be activated, what does that mean for our future? The answers to these questions are not easy, and they are not without controversy. Some scientists, astronauts, and historians have dismissed Michio Kaku's claims as sensationalism, conspiracy, or misinterpretation. They argue that the data is inconclusive, the evidence circumstantial, and the implications too dramatic. They say that we should proceed with caution, that we should not jump to conclusions, that we should not fear the unknown. But others, including some within the scientific community, see Michio Kaku's presentation as a call to action, a warning, a plea. They argue that the evidence is compelling, the implications profound, and the consequences dire if we ignore them. They say that we should not hide from the truth, that we should not dismiss the unknown, that we should not fear the future. Whether you believe the moon is natural or artificial, whether you see it as a symbol of serenity or a harbinger of danger, one thing is clear. The moon has always been a source of mystery, awe, and inspiration. It has been a part of our lives, our legends, our dreams. It has been a beacon of hope, a witness to our history, a guide to our future. and now it may be something more. As we continue to explore the cosmos, to uncover its secrets, to seek out new life and new civilizations, we must remember that the moon, our own moon, remains a mystery. It is a testament to our past, a challenge to our present, and a promise for our future. It is a reminder that the universe is vast, complex, and full of wonder. And it is a warning that we should never stop asking questions, never stop seeking answers, never stop reaching for the stars. So what happens next? If we truly unlock the moon's secrets, if we dig too deep, will we awaken something we were never meant to find? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain. The moon will always be a part of us, a part of our history, a part of our destiny. And as we continue to explore the cosmos, to uncover its mysteries, to seek out new life and new civilizations, we will carry the moon with us, in our hearts, in our minds, in our dreams. Because sometimes the truth isn't out there. It's been right above us all along.